Gospels. Sometimes these differences are very big indeed between the Gospels. It is only in the Gospel of John that Jesus declares himself to be divine. Only the Gospel of John portrays Jesus as one who is himself God. You don't get that in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Only in John does Jesus say, I and the Father are one. Only in John does Jesus say, before Abraham was, I am. Only John says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John is quite clear that Jesus is divine. Is that the historical Jesus? Or is that a theological Jesus? I think it's perfectly fine if you want to accept that theological point of view of Jesus. But it's a different question from saying that that's historically something Jesus really said about himself. If you're interested in history, you want to know what really happened. Suppose over the next 30 years we ask 4 people to write up biographies of President Jimmy Carter. These 4 people have never heard of Jimmy Carter, like most of my students, for whom Jimmy Carter is ancient history. And these 4 people are not allowed to consult any written documents. They only can use oral reports that they've heard about Jimmy Carter. They can also use one another's works, though. These biographies are then produced by these 4 people who base everything on oral traditions that they've heard. They're collected and they're examined. It turns out they're all quite moving and powerful portrayals of Jimmy Carter, but in a great number of places they contradict each other, often in little ways, but sometimes in large ways, with very different portrayals of who Jimmy Carter really was. In a number of places they contradict what historians know about the facts of history. And in other places they make claims for Carter that are clearly historically impossible to have happened. Would you say these sources could be trusted to give you a historically accurate account? Or would you say that if you want to use these sources historically, you have to figure out where there are errors, mistakes, alterations of historical fact, contradictions, exaggerations, and biased reporting? If the latter, then you're saying that you cannot trust them as historical sources. They may contain historical information, but they're not reliable as presentations of who Jimmy Carter was. The Bible also cannot be trusted as a historical source. It may provide great literature, and you may choose to use it for your theological beliefs. You may be able to, moreover, you may be able to determine what actually happened to Jesus based on its biased reporting, but the gospel accounts themselves present non-historical views of Jesus and are not historically accurate. Thank you very much.